doing. And I'm got a mess in the background because I'm just, you know, living life on life's terms. And I need to make some bracelets for my stepmom and my mother-in-law because Mother's Day is coming up. And I was going to go try to buy something. And I'm reminded once again, Dawn, you have what you need. So go look in your closet and get creative. And so that's what I'm going to do. But mostly I'm going to be kind of talking about why it's not always a good idea to use gemstones that we get, you know, at Hobby Lobby and Michael's and even sometimes gem shows. Why this is not always the best idea to put these on our jewelry. And if we want to use gemstones in our jewelry, what's a better way to do that and accomplish that? So if you want to hang out with me while I talk about my jewelry making abilities and inabilities, I would love to have you. Yeah, Mother's Day's coming up, and I have a stepmom and I have a mother-in-law. This is going to be the centerpiece, this really pretty, just little blue tile kind of piece. And this is an older pattern of like, they used to sell these at Michael's and Joann and Hobby Lobby. See this little soul symbol, this little sun symbol? It kind of looks Native American. It also reminds me of Norse, and I'm Norse and Irish and Scottish, and so is my mother-in-law, and I think so is my stepmom. It's to remind us of the sunshine. It's to remind us of the sun will rise again. And I have these little blue things. They're blue, and it's not letting me focus. It's focusing on my horrible brittle fingernails is what it's doing. It won't let me focus on the actual bead. But I will tell you, it's blue and it has some little metallic stuff on there. I just think this would be all really pretty together. And then I also have just these little bitty things that pick up sparkle. But I really had wanted to put gemstones. This is moss agate. But this is from like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann or something. The problem with these, same as the problem with these, if you've ever seen these little chips, they sell them by the strand for very cheap. It's Sodalite. It's actual stone. These little round guys. The closest I would compare these to would be Picture Jasper. You see those? That's okay if they fall. It's all right. There was a bird in that scared him and he flew off. I don't know what these... It kind of reminds me of rhodonite a little bit. I know better than to add gemstones to my jewelry, and I tell you why. And we're going to use a little example. This is how I homeschool, but this is what I'm going to do. You see this? You know what this is? This is an arrowhead. Now, unfortunately, it's broken at the tip, and that is my fault. This was a long time ago. I found it, and I dropped it, and it broke. Because they're not always the strongest things. This is probably Flint, and Flint is in the quartz family, believe it or not. When you see a beautiful, gorgeous crystal, Flint is in the same family. You'll see arrow points made out of quartz and obsidian and all kinds of stuff. And the whole point of why these were so incredibly popular and useful is because it was easy to make, yes, relatively, but sharp as all get out. Sharp. If they were like arrowheads that were more modern, they would be really sharp. This is just flaked flint. This is modern day people flint knapping down by the river. And they're sharp. And if you get in a pickle and you're down by the river or somewhere and you get flint, you could flake it off. You can get yourself a little knife. Say you get lost out in the woods, you could use it to maybe not hunt, but definitely to help cut your meat and prepare. Do you see what the problem is, though? If I'm going to have these gemstones, especially from like Hobby Lobby and these box stores, they make these things and pump these out like crazy. That little hole right there, there's a little hole. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Probably not, but you get the idea. There's a hole for threading your beads. The edging on those holes are sharp. And it ruins gorgeous, handmade, artistic jewelry. I started realizing over the years, I was ending up with a lot of, like this was a little garnet bracelet somebody gave me that it was broken. This little bag is another broken piece of jewelry that somebody gave me. It's even got the little clasp in there still. Can you guess why this broke? It was a 2 or 3 stranded tiger eye necklace. And they had some other little beads on there. That's a little octagon shaped thing. I know it's hard to see. But this has round tiger eye and tiger eye chips. And those little holes acted like little razor blades. It doesn't matter if you use jewelry making thread or if you use, what I tend to use is heavy test line. Or even if you use the braided fishing line, which is harder to thread because it frays. So I don't recommend that. I use, when I do any kind of beading, fishing line. I started using my husband's fishing line because my stuff is always breaking. This is a necklace that I made probably around 2008 or 2009. And I started making all this jewelry because I was just a single mom. I was living in housing. And I was trying so hard to fit in. I would go to church. I would try to fit in with other people. And I felt guilty. We would go to like Christmas parties and everybody would be like, you don't have to. Dawn, you don't have to be part of it. And it just made me just feel so awful. And I started noticing, this was back in the day, but Walmart had these cardboard boxes on the bottom shelf. And it was mixed bags that looked similar to this. And it would be like 99 cents. And it was like a Mod Podge of a mix of probably beads that were returned and, you know, just reused over and over. And this was the very, very first necklace that I made. And I got so many compliments. Now today I look at it and I do think it looks tacky and cheap. And I rethreaded it and added a clasp. And the reason I did that was so that I could have, you know, one of these kind of things. Now, this is very, very early 2000s. I get that. The style is not. But I do keep this, and I appreciate and respect this necklace because it reminds me of a time where I figured something out. So I got compliments. So then I would make these. And, like, if I went to, like, a Kris Kringle party or something, I had something to offer. And I remember one party, people were trading the gifts. The last single solitary gift that was left up there that nobody wanted was this little bitty package, this folded little bitty Christmas wrapped thing, really teeny tiny. And inside of it was one of these bracelets. Or it might have looked something like this one. Or it might have even looked something like this one. And the lady was like, all right, I guess I'm last. I guess I'll just get this last package. And she opened it. And then everybody wanted to trade their item for her necklace. And that was such a proud moment for me. So I started making necklaces out of the little 99-cent leftover bags in those brown cardboard boxes on the bottom shelf at Walmart. And I was selling them for $20 and $30 a piece during Christmas time. And then I had enough money to provide Christmas for not only myself, but also my thing is to like tithe back. So I started making bracelets and I had an Etsy shop for a while and I would sell them. And a classic style for me, I was looking for a bunch of them just now. I don't know where all my stuff is. That's okay. And I have rosaries I made too, but I don't know why I can't find them. But it's probably because I give them away. But this was a style kind of loosely based off. Was this the Seven Sorrows rosary? I can't remember. But if you notice, there's no gemstones on here. And there's a reason why, even though I love gemstones. Is because they break everything. But it had the three, it had the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be, and then there was 5, so you could go 5, 5, and that's your decade. And this was the centerpiece. And this was a very common style of bracelet that I made all the time. I used to give them away. I would sell them. And this is the only one I could find of that one. This one broke, and I've still not fixed it yet. But this is also a rosary bracelet. It has dirt from Jerusalem. That's a rosary centerpiece. And I love things that hold what I believe to be energy from places. That's also why I like crystals, but that's me. But it's the same concept. You have your section that's the Our Father, Hail Mary, and Glory Be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's your half a decade. So you would go one way and then back up. And then that's the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. So I had all these little bracelets I would make. And this is one of my favorites, and I really need to fix it. But I would get things, people would give me things, and it would be jewelry that was broken. You can have it. I tried to fix it. It broke again. My stepmom had a bracelet that she loved, and she sent it to me numerous times for me to fix it. I'm like, what is going on with this? People would give me jewelry and say, hey, can you fix this for me? And I would look at it. And time again, the common denominator on all of this was there was some kind of semi-precious gemstone with really sharp edges around the hole. My solution, if you really, really want to use these, is to get you a teeny tiny file. And wherever the hole is on that piece, just pretend like this is a file, I would go in there and file it, file it, file it. But it has to be very fine. Otherwise, my other solution, if you really want to wear gemstones, is going to be to do something like this. And I'm going to show you an example. And this is one I just made for my stepmom. I don't know if she'll like it. To me, it looks like a boat. This is just Gorilla Glue on gemstones on one of these things. Now, I can't tell you where to get this leaf-shaped one. I got this at the Gem and Mineral Show last year. But they have very simple ones at places like Hobby Lobby. This is a tooth I found in the river. It's a horse tooth. But I just used Gorilla Glue, and I glued that right on. This was a piece of broken jewelry. It might have been a pin. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Got it at the antique store. Thought it was cute. Just glued it to a backing. This is not a gemstone, but you get the idea. This is a piece of actual turquoise, because what do we see so much of? I mean, can you even find real turquoise anymore? Is it really a thing? I made this. This is rhodonite. I got that piece of rhodonite for about 50 cents at the Gem and Mineral Show in a box filled with broken slabs. And I glued some of that dyed howlite stuff. That might not even be howlite. That could be reconstituted God knows what. And there's a teeny tiny little pearl on the top. And that's actually real. It's a real pearl from a box of stuff that was my grandmother's. And at the bottom is one of these Hobby Lobby Joanne type quartz with that coating stuff on there. We're so used to seeing this stuff. You know, when you see turquoise at a big box store, it's probably fake. But I ordered this piece. This is actual turquoise. And I glued it to this little chain so that I could have a blue throat chakra pendant. This is one of my favorites, and I get so many compliments on this. Look how simple that is. This is Aquamarine, and this is also a throat chakra thing. I just glued it to the back of that. If I wanted to, I could make a necklace with beads, and I could have that be the center point. I just glued it, and this is one of my favorite pieces, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Tourmaline, people that love their black tourmaline, same thing. This is one of the ones I got from the Gem and Mineral Show. I got them for 25 cents a piece. It doesn't have to be a leaf-shaped one. I love it. And I wear it close to this heart thing, so it reminds me to protect my heart. Now, this looks really tacky, and I did this a while ago, but I still love it. I had finally got my hands on a piece of actual Moldavite years ago, and that's with a little Herkimer diamond, and I Gorilla Glued it in there, and I painted it gold, and I keep it on this natural little thing I made. Boop. Nope. Boop. Then I wear it like that. There was a time where I was making so many necklaces with these quartz points that I was getting at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but guess what? They were breaking the jewelry. There's more of them that they have now. They have round metal pieces. They have all kinds of things for making bracelets and necklaces where you can glue your favorite stones to it and then incorporate it. And you don't have to risk these types of gemstones breaking. Higher quality cut gemstones for beading, don't do that. This is a tourmaline bracelet. I got it at a junk store for $3, but this is tourmaline. I know my gemstones. It's on a stretchy thing. I have been wearing this off and on all over the place for over a year now, and normally some of these other types of things would have broken by now. Even if I were to straight away make a bracelet out of this on the plastic beading that came with it from the store, this will be broken within a year with normal wear. Another way you can put your gemstones on there is if you just buy them already made. Hobby Lobby has a lot of these little things, and they look like Lemurian quartz in my opinion, but they're probably from Arkansas, but they could be from Brazil. And here's one I'm still waiting to see what happens. I started to wear this a lot and I didn't. This is a bracelet that I found at the thrift store with smoky quartz. I recognize smoky quartz. I know what it is. And I went ahead and made a bracelet out of it, knowing that it might break and fall apart because I don't know the quality. But I remember looking at those holes thinking, those are smoothed out. Those are really nice. So this probably came from a better quality Gemstone Dealer. If you have a bead dealer in your area, we used to have one in Nashville, but it finally closed down, unfortunately. But it was there for like 30 years. And that's where I would go get things like jet and amber, actual jet, actual amber. This bracelet cost me about $60 to make. No, necklace. And I made a necklace and a bracelet because these are two powerhouse protection stones if you're into that kind of stuff. And these are not going to break. Anyways, probably because they're more like plastic. If you know what amber and jet feels like, it's a petrified dinosaur gooey goo stuff, and it comes out kind of like plastic. So it's not as scary as gemstones. You might be somebody who has zero interest in jewelry making and you just watched all this. And hey, if you've got fishing line, beads and stuff, you can make jewelry and give it to people. You might get you a person that's fond of you after you gave them jewelry. I'm going to get started on this, making this for my stepmom and my mother-in-law. And I'm not going to add beads. This is like the bracelet my stepmom used to always send me back to fix. It was amethyst. It was these little amethyst beads, and that little hole was like a knife. And it broke her bracelets time and time again. So I finally said, I'm not putting the amethyst back on there. Now, truth be told, I have my other opinions on why the bracelet kept breaking with amethyst on it, because I do believe it's a protection stone. And amethyst is a sobriety stone, head to toe, whether it's alcohol or whatever, but it could also be food. It could be illness. And my stepmom has been plagued with chronic illness, unfortunately. So in my esoteric crystal healing brain, I'm like, yeah, that's why that bracelet keeps breaking. I didn't put the amethyst on there because I was afraid it was going to cut the cord again. And she still liked the bracelet. So hopefully it'll last longer. I'm way out of time. That's why I keep looking at my clock. Look, be blessed. If you make jewelry, tell me about it. If you got any tips or tricks, let me know. One of the other tips and tricks I do, I would just say, if you don't know how big to make a bracelet, add a chain to it. And it becomes, you can have it there, and the chain is decorative, or you can have it here or here or here, and it makes it fit better. One last thing, if I get like, I just am not in the mood and I don't feel inspired, I'll pull out the things that inspired me. Like my grandmother's necklace from when I was a child that I still have, and I restrung, and I wore it like crazy. And then the very first necklace I ever made, and I ended up being able to make ends meet just a little bit here and there because I put some effort into it. Be blessed. Bye. A slab filled. Now, you might be somebody who has zero interest in jewelry making, but I got this at the 127 yard sale for $1. My spirituality is very out there and irrational to most people's opinions, but you might be somebody who has zero interest in jewelry